Hey everybody, and welcome to another exciting semester of CS 121. My name is Luke Bosse, and I'll be your instructor for the semester. I'm so excited that you're here, whether this is a requirement for your major, but you're not a computer science major, whether you are a computer science major, or maybe you're just taking this class because you're interested and you want to check it out, see if programming is for you. You're going to learn a lot. I think this class is a huge confidence builder. It's so incredible and such a cool feeling to just tell the computer what you want it to do, to make a program that runs, and you're going to overcome a lot of difficulties. You know, coding's not easy, but together we can kick the butt of this course, and I know that you will. So again, I'm so excited you're here. I think you're going to have a lot of fun in this class. I think you're going to learn a lot. And really looking back on my college career, CS 121 is still one of my favorite classes that I've ever taken. Now, a little bit about myself. I did actually graduate from the Boise State Computer Science program in December of 2018. One semester late. I was actually supposed to be class of spring 2018. So I guess a victory lap's not too bad. But I was also in the I-Do-Teach program, so I got my secondary ed teaching certificate for computer science. Shout out if you're in the I-Do-Teach program. I'd love to hear about that at office hours and how that's going. Quick little spiel on that. It's just a program that allows you to get your undergrad in Bachelor's of Science in a STEM discipline, but also to get your teaching credential, where normally you'd have to do math education or something. You can be a math major and still get your secondary ed certificate. So it's really cool. Anyways, that's how I actually got hooked up with this job. Was folks in the department found out that I was getting my credential, and they offered me, and here I am. I'm not a full-time professor. That's why I'm an adjunct instructor. So that's why I don't say professor. I'm an adjunct instructor. So what that means is I actually have a full-time day job. I'm a software engineer by day and a teacher by night. And I do this just because I love it. I love helping you all learn. Seeing those aha moments is really awesome, and staying connected with the program for me is really cool. But the biggest thing is I just love helping folks learn, because I love to learn too. I work at a company called Aptitex. We're an intellectual property company, so what we do is we protect our clients' intellectual property online. And by intellectual property, that can be copyrighted material, protecting their images, logos, their names. That includes things on the internet. So we check for domain names that are infringing. We check for apps that might include copyrighted material or trademark material that infringes on their intellectual property. We also look at online marketplaces, so Amazon and things like that. That also includes counterfeit goods, which before working at Aptitex I didn't know, but they're a huge problem. I mean, people produce counterfeit everything. You may have encountered it with clothing or technology items. People even produce things like counterfeit airbags, which is crazy. I mean, even things that we rely on for safety and security, bad guys are producing counterfeit versions of those, and of course they don't work as well. So when you go online, part of what we ensure is if you're buying something from one of our clients, well, we want to make sure that you're getting the real thing. So as much as we're protecting their intellectual property, I think it's cool too, because we're kind of cleaning up the digital marketplace for consumers like us to make sure that we go and our interactions with a brand are legitimate. Same thing on social media. We take down social media accounts that violate trademarks, people that are pretending or impersonating our clients. And, if people have like a fan account, there's lots of fan accounts for different TV shows, different production companies. So if one of our clients has a fan account, maybe we won't take that down because it's a good thing for them and it produces important content. So it's a really interesting space. Lots of new developments, especially at Aptitex. We're kind of on the bleeding edge of things, so it's really interesting. So I encourage you to ask me about it at office hours. I love to talk about it with you. In my experience, after almost 2 years now, exactly 2 years now in the industry. I started 2 years ago at Aptitex at this time of year. So let's talk about the class a little bit. So our class is fully online and asynchronous. So what that means is there's no set meeting time for our class. The only set time of anything is office hours, and that's for you to drop by. So every Tuesday and Thursday, I host office hours from 5:30 to 7:15. If there's nobody there in the first 30 minutes, or folks ask questions and they're done asking questions and nobody's asking any questions by 6, I usually dip out and leave just to go eat dinner or work on grading for you all. So keep that in mind. If you're going to come to office hours, come early at the beginning. But that's the only set time there is for anything. Otherwise, it's fully online and asynchronous. So your due dates are Wednesdays and Fridays. And the deliverables that you're going to be turning in are activities and quizzes. Those are due weekly, and we typically have 2 activities per week. There's a couple weeks where we only have 1, or maybe we have 3, depending on the intensity and length of the activity, but usually there's 2. There's an activity which is a coding activity where you have a worksheet that specifies, well, not a worksheet, but a document that specifies how to build the thing. I also provide an activity walkthrough video where I actually do the activity with you and explain why I'm doing what I'm doing as I go. And so you have both of those resources to guide you through this activity. I encourage you to watch the video and pause it, and then try to go ahead and follow the document yourself. And then if you get stuck, use the video as a resource. So the folks really seem to like that style of learning. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about that. So I post that video with every activity, and you'll see that there in the Lessons tab on Blackboard. You also have quizzes due with every lesson except for this first one, and I think the last one. So Lesson 0 has no quiz, but from Lesson 1 onwards, we will have a quiz with every activity. There's always pretty much a quiz paired with an activity. That quiz is just 4 questions. I believe it's 8 minutes long, or somewhere in there it is timed. And that's on the reading. And where you can find the reading is in the lesson description. So the lesson description lines out the reading. So what I would recommend doing is do the reading, maybe write up a few of the example problems in the book in your code editor and actually try coding it yourself. That's how we learn, is practice. Coding's a lot like learning a musical instrument. The more you practice, the better you get. You can read about it all day long, but unless you do it, you're not really getting anywhere. Same thing like learning a new language, because really that's what we're doing. We're learning a language with really strict rules that pretty much deals with numbers and data and things like that. And so that's the quizzes. So do the reading, practice maybe a little bit on your own, do the quiz, and then start the activity, because the activity is kind of the culmination of everything you've learned in that lesson. So activities are weekly, activities and quizzes. Then we have projects. Now, we don't have our first project until about a month into the course, and then they become almost every 2 weeks or 1.5 week occurrence. And those are your real measure of learning, because we don't have walkthrough videos for the projects. So that's a more extensive coding assignment than the activities. They're typically longer. They can range at taking folks anywhere from 2 to 10 hours depending on the project. Our shortest ones will probably take you about 2 if you're really on top of things, and then our longest one will probably take you about 10 on average. That's project 4, that's the big one. But those are really cool. They're great opportunities for you to come to office hours and get help, or to go to the tutors and learning assistants. So that's another thing I haven't talked about, is we have a lot going on in this course. You got all those things. The only other deliverable besides activities, quizzes, and projects is the final exam that'll be fully online at the end of the semester. So there's a lot of deliverables, and they hit you real fast. The beginning of the semester is pretty easy, but it really ramps up. If you go look at our Blackboard calendar, you'll see that. But you have support. Like I said, you have me hosting office hours, but you also have the tutors. So the computer science department hires tutors. There's quite a few of them for CS 121 to help you all with your activities and projects. And so you'll see that in the tutoring link on Blackboard. If you click that in the sidebar, there's a calendar, and there's a calendar times where that tutor is available. And then there's actually a Zoom meeting link. So you click into that, and you can get face-to-face, one-on-one help from our tutors. Sometimes multiple people will be signed in at once, and that's cool, because even though you have to wait in line, you also get to see what other problems other folks are running into. So the tutors are super-duper helpful. I was actually one of them. That's how I figured out that I liked teaching. Then there's also our learning assistant, Alyssa, who I've heard great things about. I haven't had the chance to work with her yet. But she provides more directed help towards like concepts and stuff. So she can't as much help you like by guiding you through projects and helping you when you get stuck. She's there to help you really just go over projects in the book, maybe do example problems together, and really learn the concepts and stuff. And she'll also host weekly sessions. And then you've also got Piazza, which, if you're not familiar with, is like a forum basically for students in classes where you can post questions and get answers. All of the graduate assistants watch it. I watch it. The tutors watch it. And our LAs watch it. So you can get answers pretty quick on there. And of course, if you ever have a question, you can also email me directly. Please never hesitate to email me directly. My email is just my first and last name, Luke Bosse, that's LukeBosse at boisestate.edu. It's also on that My Instructor tab, so you can contact me that way. So it is a difficult class. This is one of the most honestly difficult classes I've heard from students that they've taken at Boise State, just because it's so much new stuff all at once. But even though it's difficult and you're going to spend a lot of time on it, I compare it to, you're probably going to spend the same amount of time as the first time you took calculus. I found, at least that was my experience, and a couple other students I've talked to. You've got a ton of support, and again, I think it's going to be a really valuable and empowering experience for you. So with that, make sure you read my first announcement with all the details on there about getting your computer set up. So honestly, sometimes that's the hardest part of computer science, is not the problem you're solving, but getting your computer set up to solve the problem. Sometimes, not always, is the hardest part. But I'm really excited for you all. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Please drop by office hours just to say hi. Last semester, I think I got to know like 5 of my students personally through office hours, and the rest were just names on a page. So it's always nice for me to just know who stuff I'm grading. So anyways, with that, I'll let you go. Catch you all later. Nice to meet you, and good luck this semester.